And immediately this man walks into the room and he's like, Julia Hurley, Julia Hurley. And I'm like, I look up and this just drink of water staying in front of me. And I'm like, I'm going to marry that man one day. And apparently I said it out loud and he was standing there, you know, all the things.
So this is Cherokee Auto. This is our little podcast that we're doing, and I'm here with Julia Hurley. So Julia is a broker owner with Just Homes Group. And so when I looked on your website, you guys have some beautiful, beautiful properties.
Thank you.
Yeah, some very...
Yes.
That back porch.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I flipped my laptop around and showed it to my wife, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this bag. Look at this pool.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some beautiful properties.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's located at 217 South Peters Road, Suite 202. You can reach her by text or calling her at 865-314-7653. And 7653, coincidentally, is also the word sold. And so how many houses do you guys sell a year, would you say?
We average between 60 and 85.
Okay.
So we're down from the 125 I used to manage, but you know, personal time and family.
Of course.
You know, after a decade in the business, you kind of don't have to sell so many transactions. Your price point increases.
Right,
so.
Exactly. That's nice. Yeah. Her online service hours on her Google Business profile are 9 to 9. 7 days a week, I noticed.
7 days a week.
Yeah. So she's available if you want her to list your home.
Unless it's during a football game.
Yeah.
And then we're gone.
Yeah.
We do not sell houses on football game days.
You're still available, but somebody will.
Our agents in the office are available. I am not available on football game days.
Her CRM will help you, and the agent will help you.
Yeah.
And so how long have you been in Knoxville?
My whole life.
Awesome.
Lifelong.
So where'd you go to school?
I went to Sequoia High School in Madisonville, and then before that, I went to Highland Hills Christian Academy, and anybody that's from here would know where that is. It no longer exists, but that was in Lenoir City, and then went to Maryville College, graduated in 2003.
Okay, Maryville College.
Yes.
They have a really strong football program over there also, don't
Starting
they?
to.
Yeah.
You know, some of the guys that I graduated with have now come back to coach there. So it's really made a difference in their program.
That's a trip, yeah. So what did you major in?
Business, organizational management, and economics.
Wow. Yes. A little bit of a nerd, aren't you?
I'm never stressed out. I'm always ready to go.
Very high energy in this room.
A lot of organization.
Yeah, that's good. Business and organizational management. So, all right. So Gina, 1 second. So I'm going to get into the questions now. You got 5 questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Elaborate as long as you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. So Gina, you can turn it back on now. So how did you get started? I'm interested in knowing how you got started in real estate.
Yeah. So okay. Oh gosh. So I had a mentor, and he was much, much, much older than me. He was friends with my great uncle years and years ago. My great uncle passed away when I believe I was 12.
Wow.
So my mother got remarried, we moved away, and then I came back to Lenoir City and ran for public office and won. And this man reached out to me and said, I mentored your great uncle, which was shocking to me that anybody remembered that many members of my family. And he said, I mentored your great uncle. We were best friends. You remind me of him. Would you like to meet? And I was like, I would love to. And that person just so happened to be Harry Wampler, Wampler's Farm Sausage. So I was like, oh, interesting. So as our relationship evolved, he introduced me to his whole family, which was like half the county.
Oh, wow.
Such a big family. Such a great family.
Yeah.
And he really did move me toward understanding more about politics and business and how to approach things in a different way. Nobody had ever taught me that before. And he said, I really think you'd make a really good real estate agent. I said, I think that is a bad idea. I don't think I would love that at all. He said, I really think you should do it. I was like, I don't really want to do it. And he goes, I'm going to pay for you to get your license, and you're going to go do that. And I was like, I don't really want to do it. He goes, well, I'm going to give you your first 5 listings. You're going to go do it. And
Guaranteed.
I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This man has never steered me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go do it. So I went.
How old were you?
It was 2014.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Without him, I would not be here today.
That's cool.
So
what was your first listing?
My first listing was he had a property in Tellico Village.
Okay.
Right? And so he let me list that property in Tellico Village, and then he brought me a commercial buyer that was a friend of his that bought a large land tract for $1 million purchase. And so I negotiated my first land deal, and he got me into learning different aspects of real estate so I could find a niche and really feel comfortable in it. And without that man, I would not be here today.
Wow.
So I mean, he was right.
It's a nice little springboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even just knowledge. Knowledge is power, but also your philosophy with what you're going to do with that knowledge is important too. So.
Yeah. Well, it also taught me a lesson. There's never a bad time to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone older than you tells you that you're good at something, it doesn't matter if you see your talent or not. Listen.
Yeah.
If they see something
Right.
inside of you and they're already successful and they're saying, this is what I think you need to do, you should probably do it.
Right. Yeah. At least listen, right?
At least listen.
Yeah. At least develop it a little bit. So that's a good story. I like that. So your spouse.
Yes.
His name again?
This is Dr. Joe. It's Dr. Joe Hutchison. He is a professor at UT.
Okay.
And he teaches biochemistry and anatomy.
Okay.
So,
So he has his PhD in biochemistry. Or biology.
Such
maybe.
a great question. I should probably know the answer
yeah.
to that. He talks about things that I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
I try so hard.
Yeah.
He's so smart.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm so glad that class went well for you today. So, did you run into any of the football players? Did you run into any of my kids? So I'm just like, I don't even know.
Biochemistry and
he loves
anatomy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's at BCMB. This is his second year there. He loves it. He loves it. I don't think he's ever been happier. So thank you, UT.
That's awesome. So how did you guys meet?
He was my chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
So yes, in 2019, I ran 19. It was my goal. I'm going to lie. I ran 18 and a half. Half marathons. So it was my goal to run 19 half marathons. And I was at the night race in Las Vegas. I made it to mile 8. My knee and my hip gave out. And I mean gave out. I just fell over. And it being the night race, they serve you alcoholic beverages, right? So they thought I was just too drunk and had fallen over from running. And I was like, no, I don't drink and run. Like, I'm here to run. I'm injured. Please help me. And so they got me a little wheelchair and wheeled me away. And it was a really tough weekend.
Which knee and which hip?
Right knee, right hip.
Okay.
Or nothing. Your knee never moves. It's always your hip. So technically, it's the right hip, but I had hurt my knee in the process of not running properly. So I had never been taught to run.
Sure.
There is a correct way
19
to do that.
half marathons, and you were never taught to run?
No, I just
Goodness.
did it.
Yeah.
So we did the Disney marathons. We were doing the St. Jude Marathon series. So
Okay.
you travel all over the country for that one.
Okay.
Right. So the Disney marathons are at Disney. And then the St. Jude's marathons, there's one in Memphis, there's one in Savannah, there's one in Las Vegas. So we had a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun to do all these things as a group of runners together who got to travel together. But that was my last big race.
Yeah.
And
Was it hot out when you were racing, or?
it was perfect. It
Okay,
was a night.
so
It was perfect.
Oh, night race.
It was
That's
night
right.
race.
That's
Perfect.
right. Yeah. And a half marathon is 9 miles?
13.1.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
13.1
26.
miles.
That's right. 26.2.
So I have the tattoo. It says 13.1. It's
Oh.
my Disney one for my Disney run marathons. Anyway, so I came home and
What kind of shoes do you run with?
Mizuno.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Mizuno
Always.
running shoes, always Mizuno.
Okay.
They just fit me well. They're lower on the ankle. Some
Right.
people need high ankles. I need low ankles. Everybody has a fit.
Nice. Yeah.
I have a high arch.
I like
and they're good.
Saucony's. I
Yeah,
source
so
Saucony.
many people
yeah,
love
yeah.
these.
I source
Yes.
Saucony. So
Yeah.
I don't run very much, but when I do run,
Don't anymore.
yeah. Well, if you learn how to run,
Well, now that I know,
yeah.
I was doing it wrong for a while. Move that back. So I moved here. I came back here after that race. I went to KOC, Knoxville Orthopedic
Right,
Clinic.
right.
I said, something's really wrong. I've really hurt myself. God does an MRI. And he was a little too excited. He was like, yo, we need surgery. And I was like, whoa, bro. I am not old enough for this. It scared me to death because I was like, I don't want a surgery. He's like, but you need a surgery.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I can schedule you into the OR like next week. I'm like, who are you?
You're
Why
like,
are
bro,
you so
I'm
eager?
23.
Yeah, why are you cutting me right now? Let's calm down.
Yeah.
So I was like, really appreciate your exuberance and
Yeah.
professionalism
Right.
and your ability to be available and open.
Yeah.
Love that for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Can I have my MRI CD? I'm going to go get a second
Right.
opinion.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Okay. I went to TOC, Tennessee
Right.
Orthopedic Clinic.
Yep.
And dude was like, yeah, you're going to need a surgery in like 10 years. Still going to need it.
Yes.
Yeah, don't need it today. So I was
Yeah.
like, He said, however, you have really hurt yourself. And you need probably physical therapy 3-4 times a week at this point to get you out of this
Where
situation.
was your hurt? Was it in
All
the hip?
of this.
Okay.
So
the
my
whole
SI
right leg.
joint.
Yeah.
Fun fact, your hip is supposed to be a ball.
Yeah.
Right? Like a normal hip moves like
Yeah.
a ball. Like this, when you run, it's a ball and your body moves around it. Yeah, no, mine goes like this. It's got a hook on it, a bone spur hook. So it was hitting my nerves, causing numbness, causing things that I didn't know were happening throughout my entire body.
Going through your back and everything.
All of it.
Yeah.
I was so inflamed that my nerves and my muscles just stopped.
Wow.
That was the last straw for them. They're like, I've had it.
Yeah.
So my body just said, no, thank you, and stopped.
Yeah.
So I went to Tennessee Sports Med, and I was there 3 days a week, 2 to 3 hours each time.
Holy moly.
It was excruciatingly painful.
Yeah.
So when someone teaches you how to properly treat your body,
pay attention.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different, and that's not a normal conversation. You don't learn it in high school. Even sometimes in sports, I see kids doing things where they'll have like a foot drop or something weird, and I'm like,
They'll push through it. They'll try to push through it.
Yeah,
They're doing damage.
Go to your PT. Go to your PT now.
Yeah.
And that lasted about 6 weeks. And I started feeling much, much better. And then they introduced me to Dr. Joe Cairo. And immediately this man walks into the room and he's like, Julia Hurley. And I'm like, I look up and this just drink of water staying in front of me. And I'm like, I'm going to marry that man one day. And apparently I said it out loud. And he was standing there, all the things. All the things when you're awkwardly in love with someone you've literally met for 2 seconds, which is awkward as an adult, especially, because what? So I believe in love at first sight for sure. But I knew right then and there, I was like, this is going to be, this is it. This is the person for me. So, it took weeks of me like, so, would you like some basketball tickets? Would you like some football tickets?
How long did you guys date?
Well, we've been together 6 years now.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But I mean, it took me a long time, and he's like, I don't date patients. That's really against their law. I was like, then fire me. Yeah. Give me to one of your other people. Whatever it takes. Like, date me. And finally, he was like, okay, you're good to go. You're cleared. You're good. We can date now. And I'm like, yes! So,
that's a really sweet story.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. But since then, we've had a lot of things. We opened a chiropractic office together. He got a brain tumor. We've survived a brain tumor. And we had to close that office due to that. So when UT needed a biomedical teacher, and he had been doing that previously, and needs somebody to step up to anatomy, he's certified in that. It gave us something else. It gave him something to do, right? So we thought his career was over. We closed the practice. He was not purposeful anymore.
Right.
And just
that's a weird place to be, isn't
it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? But
I've been there before in my life. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
No.
And no matter, I feel like we were just meant to be together. He is truly the most calming person in my life. I get around him and I'm just like, So I encourage people, and some people ask me all the time, younger people will say, how do you know you love somebody? You get the butterflies. I'm like, no, that's physical attraction. Yeah. Not that doesn't happen.
It's there,
it's
for
there,
sure. Yeah.
But that's not the procuring cause of love, because when it doesn't matter. Wherever as long as he is around, I'm like, everything's going to be okay somehow magically. Yeah. I know that it will be. And that's it. So I knew. I just felt his presence. I just knew. So, that's how we met.
That's a good story.
It's a long story, but it's good.
Yeah, very, very happy day. So that's good. That's a beautiful family.
Thank you.
So very sweet. So we were talking about vacations, and you were going to tell us about your favorite vacation.
Obviously Disney.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Disney.
So we own contracts at Disney. We have a contract at Saratoga Springs, and then we have a contract at the French Riviera. So we go to Disney a few times a year and go for 2 or 3 days even. And we'll just go to the parks, or we'll go to downtown Disney, which used to be Pleasure Island, which is now just Disney Springs. I'm sure they'll change it again. God only knows. But we're there just to go. It's beautiful.
You just like it there.
I love Disney. The food's top notch. They always have they have 2 Michelin star restaurants there. They have 5-star restaurants there. Disney's a wonderful culinary experience.
Huge
on
campus.
Food.
Yeah, huge campus.
There's always something to do. If you're big on Disney rides and you ever want to compete with me, my high score is in Toy Story Mania. So,
wow.
My favorite ride.
You put the ears on and stuff when you're there?
All of it. I have full on everything. I have shoes that match the Disney dress, that match the Disney ears, that match the Disney jewelry, that match the Disney purse.
How do y'all get down there?
We fly.
Okay.
We fly. Delta. Yeah.
That's a long...
It's a long drive. It's a long drive. But if you do the red-eye flight from Knoxville to Atlanta to Orlando, you leave here 5 a.m. You make it down there by 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You get the Disney people to pick you up. They take you straight to your resort. You check in. You go to the pool the whole day, and then you go to your room at about 3:30. Perfect timing.
Wow. Such a fun day. Yeah.
Just spend a few days, relax, eat, sleep, soak up some sun, come home.
I haven't been as a grown man to Disney. Went as a kid with our parents, but man, I just got done reading actually his brother's book about their life. Yeah, about Roy. It was Roy Disney was Walt Disney.
Walt Disney owned Disney,
Yeah.
created Disney.
So
Roy was
Disney,
his brother.
was his brother, and so the two of them together created Disneyland and Disney World, but it's a story about them, how they came together pre-Disney, and how the whole world of Disney came about being. Yeah, it's a really good read. A friend of mine in North Carolina recommended it.
Nice.
And I just
What's
finished
the name of the book?
I'll tell you in a second. Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah. So talk about your staff.
Yeah, so we have really wonderful agents that work all over, and we cover from Crossville to Cocke County, 2 time zones. I cover all 50 states, but our agents in the office are licensed around here. So they are everywhere. We specialize pretty much in everything. We have an agent here that specializes in something.
Okay.
So our staff is fantastic. Our agents are amazing.
Do you do apartment complexes?
We do not do property management.
Okay. No, if someone wanted to buy one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we do that all.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and so you do commercial real estate.
Commercial estate, land,
single-family homes.
Single-family homes, a lot of single-family homes,
farms,
relocations, farms, large land. We've done mountaintops. I've negotiated contracts with cell phone companies for people that own mountaintops.
So how does that look like when you said we do professional relocations? So what does that look like?
Professional relocation's a bit of a challenge. Everybody wants to do it. Not everybody can do it. Professional relocation companies are all over, mostly in New Jersey and New York. Obviously, they're the bigger ones. Chicago was a big set. They take 40% off the top.
Oh.
So they're handing you a client, and they're saying they have to be here within 30 days. This is how much money they have, and we're taking 40% of your commission.
Oh, wow.
So you have to really know, and when they get here, you don't know what you're dealing with yet. You don't know if they know the area. Do they have a very specific preference? You have to know the area.
Yeah.
Now, a real estate agent should already know the area, but you really have to know the area. How far away from work are you? How many kids do you have? Are there any special needs in your family? Do you have any medical special needs? We need to know everything about you, and you need to know what questions to ask. And get as much information so when they get here, you are time sensitive. Okay, here, here, and here.
Here's the answers, yeah.
Done.
So you say professional, you're talking about like a CEO professional, not a sports professional necessarily.
We do athlete relocation as well.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
do athlete relocation as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, so that's a different conversation.
Okay, gotcha.
Obviously. It depends on what sport.
Yeah.
But.
Of course. And apparently you're a sports person, so you know all about the sports.
I do love sports.
So second to the last question. So talk about an organization that you support.
Yeah. So for every home that's referred to us, if you refer us a house to purchase or sell and it closes, we donate 1% of our net proceeds to your charity of choice.
Oh, nice.
So if you say Sertoma Center, that's where the money goes. We write it, and we write the check in your name so that you know that we did it.
So any organization.
Any organization you pick. Now, my personal preference, obviously, is the University of Tennessee because my sports programs, and I usually give that straight to the kids. So if I'm donating something, I will just give it to the kids. What do you need? What are you lacking? Do you need a tutor that needs to be paid for? Do you need this? Do you need whatever? I'm like, had a great closing. I'll just donate that to you.
Right, exactly.
So Shareholder Society is a good one. It's a tax donation, and it counts off on the taxes, and that goes to Rev Share for the kids. I mean, there's all kinds of options to support the system, but support kids.
Right, and there's always need for books, food, living, tuition.
We haven't had this request as often, which I find great. I'm on the board of Ex Hunger, and I think that Derek Furlow, who runs Ex Hunger here, with some other people, has done an amazing job of making sure that there are food pantry foods available and extra foods. They've created programs at the colleges for if you're an adult going to college and you've had to quit your job or take less hours so you can get an education. They have food for that. They have food for kids who they know where they go to get this. But I used to pay off school lunches. They won't give you a diploma if you have a debt on your school lunch. No kids should be hungry. So I have not had that request in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But for a while, I would get requests from principals and say, "Can you help me pay off a kid's school lunch?"
right.
Absolutely, no problem. Write a check right
It was
now.
like
Not a
$20,
problem.
$50.
Sometimes
Yeah,
there's a couple of them that were hundreds of dollars, and that tells me these kids were hungry. These kids were hungry.
Yeah.
They were probably buying food to hold for over the weekend and nights or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but we haven't had that problem
Yeah.
as
Good.
much. So
Good.
that's good. But yeah, it's just the community tells me what it needs. I know a lot of people will focus on one charity, and that's great. But the community tells me what it wants. So
there's a lot of really good communities here for sure. So do you have a book or like a Netflix show or like a movie that you want to recommend?
Sure. Well, my book that I wrote, it's a children's book called The Very Contrary Fairy. So visit theverycontraryfairy.com. It's also on Amazon. But yeah, so my
The
children's
Very Contrary
Fairy.
Fairy. So it's about a fairy,
contrary fairy
who likes to argue?
Very contrary.
Okay.
She's very contrary.
Yeah.
But at the end, everybody's happy.
Oh, okay.
So it's a happy ending storybook.
Oh.
But yeah, I read that for Read Across America last week. It was super fun. But yeah, I'm currently in the process of reading The Let Them Theory by Mel Robinson. So that's been very interesting. And my number one most recommended business book that I've read at least once a year is by Shauna Scott. And watch me forget the title of it, as I can literally quote the 8 steps to a correct Fierce Conversations. The 8 steps to a fierce conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just a good book.
That's your number one book.
I read it once a year.
Wow.
It's just
the
a
8
refresher.
steps.
No, it's just called Fierce Conversations by Shauna Scott. However, there are 8 steps.
Okay.
So
Fierce Conversations.
Fierce Conversations.
So what's the book about?
Fierce Conversations. How to have a conversation appropriately and respectfully within a business context.
So disagree to agree or agree to disagree.
Right.
Yeah. But on a nice professional level.
Nice
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Get your point across.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
It's good.
So,
It's a great book.
I'm reading a book right now called The Slight Edge. And it talks about that extra little bit that you can do or not do that will take you to the moon or will cause you to fail.
Interesting.
Yep.
Have you read Tipping Point?
I've heard of it.
You'd like that one next because it was kind of in that same
The
context.
tipping point. Yeah.
So you're either tipping over to fail or tipping over to succeed. So that's that hockey stick moment. It's either up or down.
Yeah.
Tipping point's
That's
really
the same.
good.
That's the same concept. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah,
It's
it's a very good book. And then let's see, what am I watching? Oh gosh, there's a couple on Apple TV that I've been hot into. It's Severance, the TV show Severance, which is very interesting.
We just got back from New York City several weeks ago, and while we were there, they had that Severance cubicle set up in the subway. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It was a trip. Yeah.
That is a trip.
Yeah.
So Severance is very good, and it's interesting because this is not a new concept. So being severed from something has been a thought leader. Like Harvard's been doing studies on this stuff for 50 years. Can we do this? So if they're making a TV show about it, more than likely,
it's pretty hot.
Pretty close to getting it done or has been done somewhere.
Yeah.
But the show is just fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating show. And then Dark Matter, also on Apple TV, is unbelievably fascinating. So how do I not give it away? Because it's just so.
It's called Dark Matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah.
I like really intense, have to think about it and figure out the plot line shows.
Yeah.
I want to think on something. Don't like to figure it out early.
Apple TV, we struggled with a Chromecast for years, and we bought an Apple TV about, 4 or 6 months ago. Of course, we're Apple people, but man, that is neat.
Yeah. Dark Matter is such a good show.
Yeah. That Apple TV device is a neat device.
And you can do it on your phone.
Yeah.
You can
just
anything.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. Go to a hotel and be like, just.
Chromecast was like fighting you, like, we really don't want to do it right now. It's too early.
They got
or
rid
something
of it.
like that. Yeah.
This year's the last. They got rid of it.
Oh, the Chromecast went away?
TVs are just if you own a Chromecast TV, bye 2025 out.
Yeah. Apple TV. Get an Apple TV.
And they have good shows. They just have good shows. Yeah. Gosh, that's funny.
So Julia, thanks for being on our podcast,
Yes,
and we're going to do our best to promote your business, and this information that we've talked about, you'll have access to this Google document.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you can refer back to it, and if something helps you grow your business, and we want that, and if there's anything we can do for you in the future, let us know.
Well, I mean, we have to go to Cherokee Auto Sales for our next car.
That's it. Yeah.
So there you go.
Or for money for a car. We also loan money. Yeah, we also loan money for
I
cars.
usually pay
so.
cash for my cars, but I will take that into consideration for other people.
Yeah, and some people just want to have access to a private auction. So I've got physician friends who will go to one of the private auctions, and they will say, hey, I want to buy this 2-year-old Mercedes, or I want to buy this Porsche, and
See, that's
and they'll
the
get a
secret
good
to
deal
success.
on it. Yeah,
Nobody understands that. Like, how do you keep getting these Mercedes cars? I look like I'm spending a lot more than I am. Yeah. Hey, if I can get a deal on it, let's go.
I mean, the last one, probably saved $11,000.
Oh, at least.
Compared to what?
Absolutely.
It was an S550 compared to what it would have gone for. So yeah.
Gas guzzler, but worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Buy turbo. So. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.